Good morning, especially to the people of Ceuta, on a day as complicated as the one they are experiencing today and also experienced yesterday. As you know, we have just finished having a meeting with the state security forces deployed in the autonomous city of Ceuta, together with the armed forces, the Minister of the Interior and myself, along with the government of the autonomous city and its president, Mr. Vivas. I would like to convey two preliminary considerations. The first is to thank them for the cooperation we have always maintained through the government delegation present here, both institutionally and bilaterally, with the government of the city of Ceuta. And secondly, to tell the people of Ceuta that all of Spain is with them, all of Spain is with them, and consequently, the government of Spain stands with the city of Ceuta, and that we understand their emotional state and the distress they have been experiencing over the last few hours, especially since yesterday. Secondly, to define what happened yesterday as an attack, a violation of Spain's territorial integrity. Ceuta is a Spanish city, and what happened yesterday deserves all our reproach, all our condemnation at the most vigorous level of rejection, condemnation, and consideration. The violation and attack on the territorial integrity of a Spanish city such as Ceuta are deplorable. I don't want to forget, of course, and not to a lesser extent, the crisis that the other autonomous city of Melilla also experienced yesterday. But we are in Ceuta, which in this case is the city suffering the greatest crisis in comparison with Melilla, and of course, it reminds us of the situation also experienced in 2021. The situation also experienced in 2021. That is why the third commitment I want to express, in addition to taking responsibility for cooperating with the autonomous government of Ceuta, is that the government of Spain will use all the mechanisms of the state, all the resources of the state, to guarantee the security of the citizens of Ceuta and, of course, coexistence in the autonomous city of Ceuta, in addition to what we have always been doing during these recent years, which is demonstrating the resounding, total, and unequivocal commitment of the government of Spain to the present and future of the autonomous city of Ceuta. There has not been a government that has invested such an amount of economic resources in state investments as the current government has in the autonomous city of Ceuta. What has happened? Well, what has happened is indeed a violation of the territorial integrity of Spain, of the borders of a Spanish city such as Ceuta. And in the discussions we have had with the Moroccan authorities, the underlying issue is the self-serving interpretation that human trafficking mafias have made of a Supreme Court ruling, which actually reaffirms a previous court decision by the High Court of Justice of Andalusia, which states that repatriations at the border do not apply to those who enter our territory by swimming through the sea, considering that there is no physical border, as there is, for example, when a land border is crossed. This is the situation. It seems that this interpretation of the Supreme Court ruling has spread like wildfire over these last few hours through human trafficking networks and has caused an avalanche of the characteristics and magnitude that we experienced yesterday. I say this because over these last few years, what we have seen in Ceuta, and of course also at the most critical points, Melilla, the Canary Islands, the Balearic Islands, in short, also along the Mediterranean and Atlantic coasts of Spain, has been a systematic reduction in the arrival of irregular migratory flows. But in any case, this situation is indeed unprecedented. It breaks the pattern we had been recording throughout Spain of a systematic reduction, year after year and month by month, in the arrival of irregular migrants. And therefore we must not only act urgently, but also not forget to act on what is important. What is the government of Spain doing? I have also shared this with the president of the autonomous city, Mr. Vivas. Firstly, in relation to security, thanks to the commitment that the government of Spain and the Minister of the Interior, Fernando Grande Marlaska, have demonstrated over the past few years by increasing the capabilities of the Civil Guard and the National Police by an average of 10% in both forces, we have increased the combined number of Civil Guard and National Police personnel by 400. Together with the deployment of the armed forces, the Army, and the contribution of the Navy, the aim is to ensure a presence in the autonomous city of Ceuta, on its streets and in its squares, to guarantee the peace and security of Ceuta's residents.